How much? This much? Orange. This much. Okay. This is how much? This is okay. Okay, fine. So we have started with the. Okay, so we are going to sing this song called as Bhajahu Remana. I have shared in the in my screen this particular verse, sorry, this particular song. So I'll only sing. There will be no chorus because we all can't sing in the online together. Na? So that is one of the challenge here in the online. So let's start. Bhajahure mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Bhajahure mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare दुर्लभं शानभं जानम सत्संगे तारहो ये भव सिंधुरे सीता तपा बचपरीशन ये दिन जामिनी जागिरे विफले से कृपणा दुर्जना विफले से विरो कृपण दुर्जना चपल सुखल लागिरे चपल सुखल लागिरे निधाना जाऊ बना पुत्र परिजन एते की আছে पर तीतिरे काफला डाला जला जीवन तलमला भजहु हरि पद नीतिरे श्रवण की तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवन दास्य रे पूजन सखी जनात्मनिवेदन गोविंद दास भिलाषरे गोविंद दास भिलाषरे भजहु रे मना श्रीनंदानंदन अभय चरणर विंदरे भजहु रे मना श्रीनंदानंदन अभय चरणर विंदरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जयो प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा जयो गुरुदेवा जयो गुरुदेवा देवा जयो देवा नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्रील गुरुदेव की जय. So We will read the meaning, but before that, let's read the uh, have a short Mangalacharan prayer, and then we will read the translation, and then we will start with our verse for today. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। क्षणं पङ्गुर्लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Okay, so anybody volunteer for reading the translation? It's just only four lines we need to read. Anybody? You can raise your hands. Okay, Haribala, will you please read? I
Hare
hope you can
Krishna.
unmute, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So just read the translation alone, huh? One.
Oh my, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nand, which makes one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. Both in the day and at night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heart, heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and family members? This is tottering like a drop of water on the lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. It is the desire and great longing of Govinda Dasa to engage himself in the nine process of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord Hari and chanting those glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense, and so forth, serving him as friend and completely offering to the Lord one's very self.
Okay, thank you, Haribala. So we will come to our today's verse. Hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay. So let's start. So today's verse is from Bhagavad Gita 2.14. Okay. So let's recite the verse. Anybody who wants to recite the verse after me can raise your hands. We'll give a opportunity for you also to recite. Matra sparshastु kaunteya Sitoshna sukha dukkadaha Agamapaino nityas Tam stitikshashva bharata Matra sparshastु kaunteya Sitoshna sukha dukkada Agamapaino nityas Tam stitikshashva bharata. So anybody would like to chant the shloka? Anybody else? Aparna, you want to chant?
Hare
You can
Krishna
also.
Mataji.
Yes, yes, yes. Please go ahead.
मात्र स्पर्शस्तु कौन्तेया शीतोष्ण सुखदुःखदा आगमापायिनो नित्यास्तां स्थितिक्षव भारत.
Okay, thank you, Aparna. So can you also read the translation of this verse?
Yes, Mataji. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to. Can you scroll up, Mataji?
Okay, it's not visible.
And one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Okay, okay, fine. So today's verse is that Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkhada. Agama paino nityastam stitikshasha bharata. So here it is said that matra sparshastu. Matra means sparshastu means sensory perception. Kauntiya means O son of Kunti. And Sitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha. So he's telling that Seet means actually in Sanskrit it means like winter. And Ushna means summer. Sukha Dukkadaha, happiness and pain. So what is he telling over here, Krishna? Krishna is telling that the appearance of this sukha and dukkha. Sukha means happiness and dukkha means it is it is distress. So this appearance of this happiness and distress is like that of the appearance of the summer and winter, the seasons. So how the seasons they come and go, similarly the happiness and distress also it is coming and going. So how the season is, the summer season always will be there. Now we are in the summer, and especially in Chennai it is extremely hot over here. So if one thinks that that the summer will only prevail, the winter won't come or the rainy season won't come, so is that a correct understanding? No. The summer will go away and the rainy season will come and then the winter season will also come. Similarly, the happiness and distress is compared to that of the appearance of the seasons. Agama paino nityas. Agama paino means appearance and disappearance are non-permanent. So what is the meaning? Meaning is that this happiness and distress or whatever we are feeling through these dualities. See, happiness and distress, when we tell, they are dual, right? Happiness is there and the opposite is and distress. Summer, winter. right? Honor, dishonor. And any other examples can anybody give of the dualities that we face in this material world? Dualities of the material world. You understood, right? These are the dualities, like happiness and distress, and honor, dishonor. And anything else anybody would like to tell? Like some examples,
Hot or cold day.
hot and cold. Yes, somebody has written pain. Yes, you have written pain and pleasure, day and night. Yes, all these are the dualities in this material world. And what is the nature of these dualities? It is non-permanence. And what is Krishna telling? Tam stitikshusha bharata. You must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So Krishna is giving us a message here that we must learn to tolerate. So we had started this Bhagavad Gita, and if you see, we had started with the chapter, like we had started with verse 1.1, and then, slowly when the war was about to begin, and then when Arjuna saw the entire army, he was very bewildered. He didn't wanted to fight. And then what did Krishna say to him? That you are important, right? Like, I mean to say that he had scolded, like Krishna had said that you are talking very learned thing, but actually you are thinking that you are talking like a learned, but actually you are not learned, right? That was how Krishna had criticized Arjuna. And then after that, he started revealing all this knowledge. So last class, we saw a verse when Krishna is telling that that one should not be bewildered thinking that one is a body. We are not the body, we are the soul. And in this verse he is telling that okay, you tolerate. So there is a shift over. Like previously he was talking about the soul, the second chapter he was completely talking about the soul, right? And now here he is telling about the tolerance. He's giving a virtue over here, that you need to tolerate. Why he is telling that? Actually, if you see the psychology or the conversation, it was like this. Just give me a minute. So if you see here, like Krishna, so here Krishna started telling to Arjuna that first he tells that okay, you should not lament thinking that your relatives will die, because you're lamenting for the bodies of them. So you should not lament on the bodies. Then Arjuna says that how can I not lament? Because anyway, they are my relatives. So I am attached to their bodies. You are telling that I should not be attached, but I'm very attached to their bodies. Then what should I do? Then Krishna tells over there. First, he tells, yes, you are not the body, you are the soul. Second thing is that why are you lamenting? Because dehi no ashmin yatha dehe Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara. Why are you lamenting? Because anyway, they were they are renewing their body, right? They are leaving their old body and they're getting their new body. So why are you lamenting? Then he's telling, I'm very attached. I'm very attached to them. That is why I'm lamenting. So then Krishna is telling that this happiness and distress is like that of the appearance and disappearance of that of the seasons, and that's how you must tolerate it. If you're attached, then you must tolerate it. So now here in the purport, we will read the purport and then we will see the insights of the purport. Okay, any volunteer for reading the first paragraph of the purport? Rashmi, can you read the purport?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Please read. In the
I'm
proper discharge of duty. Yeah. You're not visible. Purport is not visible. Oh, okay. 1 minute. I'm sorry. Let me know if it's visible now.
Yes, Mataji, now it's visible. In the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non permanent appearance and disappearances of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magh, January to February. It is very cold at that time. But in spite of that, a man who abides by the religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight in the uh, Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of the Kshatriyas, and although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya illusion. The two different names of addresses given to Arjuna are also significant. To address him as Kaunteya signifies his great blood relation from his mother's side, and to address him as Bharata signifies his greatness from his father's side. From both sides, he is supposed to have a great heritage. A great heritage brings the responsibility in the matter of a proper discharge of duties. Therefore, he cannot avoid fighting.
Okay, thank you, Rashmi.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mataji.
So some of the important learnings over here. So what does this verse teach us, right? So can anybody tell now you have we read the purport, we read the verse text. Anybody would like to tell that what is Krishna trying to tell over here in this verse? Like we have Saubhagya, Vani, Priyanka, Priyadarshini. Some one point if you would like to share, Ashmita. One point if, or you can write in the chat window also. Like what is Krishna trying to tell us? Tolerance. Very nice, Vigneshwari. And anybody else? Priyanka, Priyadarshini, you have raised your hand. Please tell.
Yes, Mataji. We have to do our duty, whatever the problems or whatever the inconvenience comes before. We should continue and do our duty as per that. We should not
Yes.
stop for anyone.
Yes, very nice, Priyadarshini. Yes, no matter what, whatever comes, yes, we should do our duties. And also, yes, Krishna is teaching us tolerance. Okay, so with my realization, which I have heard from the classes and everything, I would like to share over here few of the points. So, what is this verse trying to teach me? Right? First, it teaches us the dualities. So, dualities of this material world. Most of us, we do not accept the dualities of this material world. See, we are, when most of the time now we are in the digital India, right? Most of the time we youths, basically youths, like we are used to our cell phones. More or less, we are with our mobile phones. And everything around, and if you see a mobile phone, starting from YouTube to that of the Instagram to Facebook, everywhere, if you see, we see perfect things, isn't it? We see always the things which are very perfect. Somebody is trying to make paneer sabji, like he tastes it, he seems to be very happy, but we haven't tasted it. And we see that the paneer sabji, how what it is made in that YouTube video, we want to make the same thing. We'll follow the same thing, but it will not come out that way. Correct? So we are, so there is a duality. So what is there? The reality versus that of the what is there? What is there in our so-called reels? Reels versus reality is different. right? But most of us, we do not accept the dualities which is existing in this material world. And what happens when we do not accept the dualities? And what is the nature of these dualities? These dualities are basically non-permanent. That means that now this happiness is there, and the next moment the distress also can be, or the problems are there, but then the problems are not permanent, right? The happiness also which we are experiencing, even that is not permanent. So the happiness and the distress both are non-permanent, right? So in this material, sorry, just one. So these both happiness as well as distress, both are the non-permanent, right? So these dualities which we are facing in this world, they are non-permanent, right? So so now when we understand that the dualities are there and the dualities are also not permanent, so finally what we do? We make choices. Okay, we have two choices that we make. What are the two choices? The first choice what we make is that, okay, we know the dualities, we know it is non-permanent, but we are so attached. We're so attached that we do not accept those dualities. We think that, okay, I am in a problem and I will always be in problem. We think that we are happy and I'll always be happy. And when there is a sudden change, when there is a change in our life, we are unable to take those changes. What happens? We are in a very happy situation and suddenly some problem comes. What happens? We totally break off. We do not think that, okay, this is the nature of this material world. There is duality. If there is happiness, there will be distress. And the happiness which I was facing, now the problem has come, and this problem will also pass away. But then my mind doesn't allow me to think in that way. We think that, okay, I'm in a problem and I'll eternally be in problem. Why? Because I'm very attached. Attached to the people around us, or attached to the things around us. For example, I have a mobile, right? And somehow the mobile is broken. And somebody gave me that mobile with lot of love, maybe some relative, some friend, right? Somebody gave me that mobile. And somehow it is broken. And now the thing is that you are distressed. Okay, I'm just giving an example of a mobile phone, but we are attached to many other things. Okay, so then we are very attached to that thing, and we go to the repair shop, and the repair person says that for repairing this particular mobile, you need to give me 25,000 because it's an imported mobile which you have got as a gift. And then we are so attached, okay, that we cannot accept that duality. Okay, now my mobile is broken. Instead of using my intelligence, I'm so attached that, okay, no matter 25,000 also, in the 25,000, another maybe one plus will come, but I'm not ready to take it because I'm so attached. So I'll go for the 25,000, I'll give that 25,000, and I will get one more. I mean to say, I'll repair that mobile, no matter, because I'm very attached. Similarly, with relationships, what we do with relationships, for example, when you are in a relationship, you understand that that person with whom you are dealing with, that person is constantly, sometimes we don't know, like it may be a boyfriend girlfriend relationship also. Like you are exploring that whether, that person is compatible with me. So when you're exploring, when a match comes and you start talking with that person, and that match is going to get fixed. But in between, if you come to know that, okay, so and so person has some bad qualities, and which was uh, an intelligent person, if they see that, okay, these qualities are something, the values are, he is hurting the values which I live, but then I get attached in that process, no matter how that person is, I want to live with that person, even though he has some bad qualities like smoking or drinking or something. So I compromise with all those things because I have got attached to that person. Correct? Because the duality has come. Now I knew that okay, so and so person is perfect. But now that when the duality is arising, I'm not ready to accept the duality. I'm thinking, okay, I'm very attached, so I go with that. Okay, this is one response, right? When we know that, okay, there is a duality and we know that it is non-permanent, but I'm very attached, so I'm totally ignore the reality, right? This is one response. And what happens when I'm very attached? The natural result is that when I'm very attached to somebody or some things or some circumstances, what happens? There is lamentation. I am lamenting. Okay, I was very happy, but since I'm very attached now, I am experiencing how that happiness was giving me joy, the distress is giving me the equal level of the pain. See, the degree you are attached, to that degree you will feel the pain. To that degree you will lament. So the degree you are attached to a person or to the degree you are attached to a thing, you will feel that much of pain. You will not be able to cope up with the dualities of your life. Then the next response, response which Krishna wants us to give, that is what? Tolerate. That's what he's telling to Arjuna. That Arjuna, you are lamenting. He tried to give him some logical reason that yes, you are not the body, you are lamenting for the body, but yes, you should not lament for the body. Rather, because the body will anyways take another body when it dies. So why are you lamenting for it? But he was still very attached to his relatives, his friends. He did not wanted them to die in that battle. So Krishna is telling, yes, you tolerate these situations. So, my dear devotees, you will have certain situations in your life wherein you will have to face all these dualities, right? So, at that time, this verse will come for your rescue. That is, if there is a problem in my life, it is not that it is going to be permanently there. Or if there is an happiness, here Krishna is telling, tolerate both happiness as well as distress. If you cannot tolerate happiness, you cannot tolerate distress also. But your question may arise, how do I tolerate happiness? And why do I have to tolerate happiness? Correct, right? So why do I have to tolerate happiness? I'm very happy. Why should I tolerate it? Because both are non-permanent. The degree you will be happy, thing you will be okay, we will see that particular thing, how do we tolerate happiness in our subsequent slides. But yes, tolerance in both the things we need to do. For example, I'll just, for substantiating this why we need to tolerate happiness, I'll give you an example. Now there was one person, I think in everyone's college we have a topper. Correct, right? And we know sometimes some toppers, they have a attitude. What is that attitude? I'm always doing good. And sometimes in some semester, if you see, if they get less marks, how do they feel? Oh my God, somebody else gets better marks. So they are not satisfied that, okay, they are still like coming under the top three. They are only thinking that from the first position, I came to the second position. Correct? Why it happens to them? Like I know a particular girl in my school, at least, which when she was there, she was the topper of the school. And one particular class, like I think in the eighth or the ninth standard, some other girl, she came to the first position, and she came to the third position. But no doubt there was some mark 0.5 or some 1 or 2 marks difference was there between this first, second, and third, right? But she was so bewildered, she was so much in lamentation that she did not come out of her house for some 2 to 3 days. And she wanted to also, she had the suicidal thoughts that, she is not getting good marks in her. She did not get enough good marks, what she thinks is the good marks according to her, in her school. So this is how devotees, like when we have when we are like, when we think that, okay, I am in certain position and I should always be in that position. And only that, if I come to that position, then only I can get happiness. When we have a benchmark and nothing else, nothing less than that matters for us, we cannot tolerate if we are little below to that standard. Correct? So she was so much attached to her coming first in her class that she could not take up a slight difference in her marks also. Correct. So similarly, when we are, sometimes I've seen people that when they suddenly get into a problem, they will think that, okay, how can this happen to me? What wrong did I do? I have always been good in my whole life. But how can it happen to me? Right? So that is how their natural response is. Right? But we should understand, yes, happiness is there, but distress will also come. And an intelligent person, what he thinks? Okay, they are non-permanent and one should not lament. Right? So, so here, if you see, there are four motivations basically for doing an activity. So what are the four motivations? The first motivation is duty. We want to do an activity because we are duty bound. Second is that we are doing a duty out of our love. Third, we do a duty because of fear. And fourth, because of desire. Right? But if you see, fear and desire are not such a, I mean to say that not such a good motivation to do a duty. Like some people, they do the duty out of fear. Some people, they do the duty out of their desire. They have a lot of desires, that's why they do. But the highest motivation for doing an activity is to do duty with to do an activity with duty and love. But for doing an activity with love or duty, one must develop tolerance. And that's what Krishna is telling in this verse, that we must develop tolerance in order to do the duty, to do an activity with duty and love. Because Arjuna was he was lamenting, and he was also in a situation which is like us, like we have problems in our life and we are completely bewildered. The Arjuna was also in a similar situation in the war field. He was completely paralyzed at what he has to do. Right? So at that time, Krishna is telling that yes, you must do the duty. Like Krishna tells in the further verses, he tells that Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. You fight this battle, but remembering me. But how can he do that? He must do that activity with love. Right? Anything you do, any activity that you do, it will give you the best result when you do that activity with love. Just see how, like you can yourself judge, like like when you do an activity, for example, you are forced to do an activity. There's somebody, your parents must have forced you to take up to such an course. But then how much 100% are you able to give? But when you take up to a course which you like, which you love, what you want to do, you will give your 100% to that because you love that work. You love that work to do. For example, some people may love like to do some digital marketing course, but their parents had said them to know, if you become only an engineer, you are successful. Right? And they go to an engineering course or they go to an MBBS course and they struggle so much because that is not what they want to do. That is somebody else wanted them to do that. And then what happens when we live some other person's dream? Yes, we're not able to give that 100% sometimes because your love is for doing for doing a particular activity, something somewhere else. Right? So that is why that is why any activity should be done with the love. But when we do anything with love and when we do any activity as a matter of duty, there is one virtue which is needed, that is to develop the tolerance. Now that developing of the tolerance, we will see that how can we go to the next section and we will see that how can we develop this art of tolerance. Now there are three things which I want to tell you that how can we develop this art of tolerance. Now, the first factor which I want to tell is the knowledge. Now, today only we read a verse. What did we read? That this appearance of the happiness and distress is like that of the appearance of summer and winter. So, the first thing to tolerate is the knowledge. We must have the knowledge, right? That, okay, these dualities are there, the happiness is there, distress is there in my life, the problems are there, there is joy in my life, but both of them are dualities, right? They will come and they will go. So the first thing is I should have knowledge. Unless and until I have knowledge, I'll be ignorant. And if I'm an ignorant, I will be swayed away by all these dualities in my life. So the more I have knowledge, I have more resistance, or my mind is more prepared to accept those challenges or accept those changes. If I'm not prepared, then I mean, so if I don't have any knowledge only, then how can I face that particular thing? For example, you want to go for a trip. For example, if you go for a trip to a particular place wherein, you go to Himalayas, for example, you want to go for a trip. And if you have the knowledge, okay, there it will be, snow will be there. So I need to take my jacket. I need to have all those gloves. I need to have proper, clothing, winter clothing, so that I'm prepared to go there, right? You have some knowledge. So you don't have that knowledge and you just have a half knowledge. Like, okay, Himalaya is a very good place, is a great place, but you don't know you don't have proper knowledge that how the weather will be there, and you're under prepared. Then will you be able to tolerate the winter there when you go? No, you'll not be able to tolerate. Similarly, in our life also, when we have challenges, this Bhagavad Gita comes to our rescue. So Bhagavad Gita is our user manual, right? Which we use it for leading our life. So this Bhagavad Gita gives us that knowledge that yes, this happiness and distress are like the appearance of the summer and winter, and one must learn how to tolerate. So Krishna tells one more verse also in the Bhagavad Gita, that is yehi samsparsha ja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramade buddha. So an intelligent person does not take the meaning of this verses. An intelligent person does not take part in the source of the misery which are due to the contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and the end. And so the wise man does not delight in them. So a wise man, what he thinks? He thinks that like all this sukha and dukkha, they are coming out of the sense perception, right? For example, when a hot water touches our skin, we feel very hot. When a cold water touches our skin, okay, we feel very cold. So all these are happening because the senses are coming in contact with the sense objects, right? And they have a start and they have a end. All these happiness and distress, or they have a start and they have a end. So if a person is having that knowledge, what are the knowledge? Two things. He has to have just two things. He To become wise, what Krishna tells a wise person, he must know two things. That is, these happiness and distress are coming out of the of combination of the senses with my sense objects. For example, my eyes. My eyes always want to see the perfect things. And what does my ear wants? My ear wants to always hear my own glorification. If anybody tells, okay, you are not such a good person, okay, you're not speaking well. Mataji, you don't speak sometimes, some unsensible things also you speak, or you speak a lot, right? So many negative, some comments we hear. So when we hear some negative comments, automatically we don't like it, right? We don't like it. We cannot tolerate it. So the senses, in interaction with the sense objects, they always want the best thing. The senses, for example, we want to eat food. We want to eat the best thing. Anything, if little karam is less or little salt is less, We start shouting at our parents, "Son, what did you give? You're always giving me only sambar rice only. You don't have anything else to prepare. Always sambar rice or curd rice." As soon as I open my tiffin box, only sambar rice and curd rice is only there. I'm fed up. I'm just giving you an example, right? So the senses, when it comes in contact with the sense object, it always wants to enjoy. The tendency for us to is to enjoy. But Krishna tells who is a Buddha, that who is an intelligent person who does not, who is not bewildered by these things. He understands that, okay, this whatever the happiness or distress I am getting, it has an starting and it will end one day, and I should not get attached to neither happiness or neither to the my distress. I should not get attached. So that person is a wise person. So first is, if you want to tolerate, you must have knowledge. Second thing is acceptance. we for us, we do not accept situations. Any problem, for example, somebody leaves from our life. We had a relationship and somehow that relationship didn't work out in our life, and that person has now moved away. Now he has found a new path to go away, right? But for us to accept that thing, it becomes so difficult. And knowledge, once you have knowledge, then only you can accept actually. If you do not have knowledge, then you will not be able to accept. You will be taken away by that issue, by that problem, right? But then when you have that knowledge, yes, it is non-permanent and it will go away. And even if that person has left from my life, okay, it is for my own good. Because what if that person would have stayed, I would have married that guy who has left me and went, and later I would have realized that, oh my god, I'm not at all compatible. But marriage is already done, right? Once you marry, there is nothing called as the divorce in your Vedic culture. That's why the girls who are going to get married, they're looking for a spouse. They should have a clarity in their mind, first of all, whom they are choosing. Second thing is that, yes, we should choose very intelligently. And if after, even after getting engaged, some engagements break. And when the engagements break, also at that time, the girl goes into depression. Oh, why did it happen with me? So if you have knowledge, you will never ask, why did it happen with me? Rather, you will think that, okay, it happened, it is for a good. There is some reason behind me facing this problem. There's Krishna is protecting me, right? So that acceptance will come only when the knowledge is there. Third thing is that we should have a fixed goal. Most of us, we do not tolerate things because we do not have a goal only in our lives. Okay, I have knowledge. I have to accept it. Okay, this you are telling Mataji that okay, this happiness or distress is coming and going. So okay, you are giving me the knowledge, I'm accepting it. But for what reason? For what reason I have to tolerate all these things? What is going on in my life? Why should I tolerate? So the third thing, what we have to understand, yes, what is my goal? Why I should tolerate? Why I need to tolerate? What is the necessity for me to tolerate? Because I have a goal which is higher than that of this happiness and distress. And what is that goal? Yes, I want to reach Krishna and I want to please Krishna. So if I want to please Krishna, yes, I tolerate certain situations. And that pleasing Krishna becomes the biggest goal in my life. And then what happens, when you want to please Krishna, this happiness and distress becomes this insignificant in your life. You don't have to think that, okay, I'm, you know, you don't have to be carried away either by happiness, or you don't have to be carried away either by your distress. Your only goal in your life becomes that how can I please Krishna? What can I do to please Krishna that he is very happy, right? That becomes your highest goal. And finally, I just want to conclude this session with this last slide, that is the devotee's response to the dualities. For us, whenever a problem arises, we totally become bewildered when that problem arises. But then how the devotees are responding to the dualities, let's watch that out. So first thing is that they are how they are responding. They are seeking an opportunity. Now, when I tell opportunity, now what opportunity is there when you are facing a problem? Can anybody tell what is the opportunity when you have a problem?
Mataji, surrender.
Yes, very nice. Surrender. And anybody else?
Everything happens for a reason. And
Opportunity to depend on Krishna, Narmada wrote. Yes, somebody else was also telling, sorry. Who was telling?
everything happens
Komal.
for a reason.
Sorry, Komal, I cannot hear you.
Everything happens for a reason. It
For
is
a
a
reason. Yes.
perfect guidance of
Yes, all
Krishna.
of you are giving answers which are not in my slide also. That's amazing. Yes, everything is a Krishna's plan. Opportunity to learn, to develop certain qualities. Very nice. Opportunity to surrender. Yes, opportunity to depend on Krishna. Yes, all these, whatever you have said, is completely correct. See, for example, now Krishna is telling here, O son of Kaunteya. You know why he is telling, O son of Kaunteya? Tam Titikshashra Bharata. He's telling that He's telling the name of, O son of Kaunteya. He's telling that because you are the Kunti Putra. You know Kunti, how much did she suffer? Time heals and God helps. Okay, Priyadarshini. So you say you had given that comment. So here, if you see Kunti Maharani, who is Arjuna's mother, her life, if you see, it was completely, totally like I feel that when was the moment when she was happy? Like she was born to one father, but she was given to another father, like another king, right? She was born and then immediately she was born to Surasen, but then from Surasen, she was adopted by Kunti Bhoj. And from Kunti Bhoj, when she went there, okay, one day she was playing, sometime little happiness was there and she was playing, but suddenly Durvasa Muni comes. Durvasa Muni becomes so happy that he gives her a boon. He gives her a boon that she can call any devta and beget a child. And she was very, very small, very young at that time, not even young. She was in her very small age. She was there. And when she gets that, she gets that boon. So what happened? She just tried it. Okay, so you see happiness and distress in her life. Continuously happiness and distress is coming. Little happiness, a lot of distress. Like hardly any happiness you can see. It is completely continuous problems. And actually, after this Mahabharat war was there, Krishna was there with Yudhishthir Maharaj. And then Yudhishthir Maharaj was telling to Krishna, actually, we are not a very good example of your devotees. Because if you see, you are always with us, Krishna, but my life is completely full of problems only. That what is the example that I can give to the entire world? My life is like any time, if you see, the most suffering that they had is the Pandavas. The Pandavas were always suffering. There was not a point of time that they did not suffer. But the only qualification that they had is that in all those sufferings, what they were doing, they were taking complete shelter of Krishna. And see here, Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani, she just tested and she got Karna. So it was a moment of joy for her, right? So that Karna is born. But then finally, what she had to do? No, she was fearful of the entire society. So she had to abandon her child. She had to abandon her child. So, second, then after some time, okay, fine, the child was abandoned, nobody knew. And then she got married to Pandu. And then Pandu was cursed. Little marriage life was there, but only little bit of happiness. And finally, again, Pandu went to the forest, and Pandu was cursed, and that she cannot beget any child. Then she begot all the children. After she begot all the children, Pandu died. Now she was a widow. Now she had to take care of all these five Pandavas. And what happened to the five Pandavas? Constantly Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra's sons, Duryodhana, they were trying to kill the Pandavas. Some or other problem will come. Like Bhima was poisoned. They went inside a palace which was completely made of, materials which are so ignitable that they can die at any moment. That somehow or other they were saved by Krishna. But even after going through so many problems, when the Mahabharat war was over, and now Krishna was going back to Dwaraka, that time Kunti Maharani is praying to Krishna that now you are going. I feel so bad that you are going. Now what will I do? Now, till now, I had problems in my life. That's why I was taking complete shelter of you, and you were there in front of me and giving me all protection. Now, I have everything. Now, the Mahabharat war is over. I have kingdom. I have everything. I'm in a very happy position. But now you are leaving away from me. Right? So, I don't want all this happiness. I don't want all these things. Rather, I want all problems in my life. So it is Kunti Maharani who could ask because she could tolerate all these things. For us, we cannot even tolerate a simple problem in our life. A simple problem comes, we totally break. Right? We cannot even tolerate a difference of opinion in our lives. For example, we have a husband or anybody or friend. He tells that, okay, for example, I want to go to a trip to Kerala. Somebody tells, I want to go to a trip to Goa. That difference of opinion is also we are not able to tolerate. What to speak of tolerating problems in our life? So Kunti Maharani was in such a state that she could ask. So I'm just telling you what is a devotee's response to all this duality. A devotee's response is that he takes all the opportunities that how can I serve Krishna and how can I surrender to Krishna. Whatever the problems in my life are happening, it is because of my past misdeeds, but he sees all these problems in his life as an opportunity to remember Krishna, to surrender unto Krishna. Right? So, and also Vineshwari was telling this, yes, this is an opportunity for me to learn that, okay, this problem happened in my life. What is the learning which I have? And what is Krishna trying to teach me? Right? So, this is a devotee's response. Second is that, okay, 1 minute. Second is that devotees have a key to happiness, right? And that is why dualities do not affect them. For example, Prahlad Maharaj. Now, Prahlad Maharaj's life is again example of how he tolerated the problems in his life. If you see Prahlad Maharaj, you can change the temperature also if you want to feel good. So if you see Prahlad Maharaj was continuously tormented by whom? By his father. Now, father is supposed to be the person who gives shelter to his dependents, right? To especially to the son or a daughter. Now, father is only such that father is only tormenting, right? And what is he doing? So many things. He was thrown from from the top of a cliff, and then he was put inside the snakes. He was thrown inside a ditch, and he was, even his own aunt was trying to kill him, like Holika was trying to kill Prahlad, took him inside the burning fire. So many things happened. To see your own relatives, not only own completely blood relationship. Father is somebody who is so dear, and here father is only trying to kill. But Prahlad Maharaj once also in the Bhagavatam, he doesn't tell why it is happening to me. Why did I get such a father? Why did I get such a relatives who are trying to kill me? Why am I born in demoniac family, though I am not like that? He doesn't ask all these questions. He just accepts it, and in the more or less what to expect, what to what to what to retaliate for whatever he is facing through. He doesn't even tell that those people who are trying to torment me, let them suffer. He doesn't even curse them. Why? Because he is absorbed. What is he absorbed in? His key to happiness is that he's always He's always chanting, hearing, and remembering. So, one who is chanting, hearing, and remembering, so these are the key to happiness. when one is chanting, he's experiencing joy because Krishna is dancing on one's tongue. When he's hearing the glories of Krishna and he is feeling so happy when he's remembering, especially Prahlad Maharaj is remembered for his remembrance. So he was completely absorbed in remembering the Lord. And that is why he said to his father, what did he say to his father? Smaranam, Smaranam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. He said to his father that, yes, I am very happy just by chanting, hearing, and remembering the Lord. I'm very happy. So I do not, he completely becomes oblivious to the problems of his life. Like similarly, if we are, it's not that if we take up to the spirituality, the problems won't arise. But the joy of spiritual life is becomes so high that the problems in our lives becomes insignificant. For example, when we recently we had a flower festival and all of you enjoyed so much in the flower festival, at least those who could personally attend those flower festival, or when you hear kirtan, even if you are hearing in your home, you hear kirtan, you hear lectures, you become so happy, your heart becomes full of joy, that whatever may be the problems, it looks insignificant, right? So that is the happiness that a devotee faces. Third is the absorbed mind. Now, I want to give the third example of, I would like to extend for another 5 minutes the class. Please be with me and bear with me. So, the third is that the absorbed mind. Now, the absorbed mind. Now, Daksha and Shiva. Do you know, right? Everybody knows about Shiva and Daksha. Like, at least you can raise your hand. Anybody who doesn't know Daksha and Shiva. Now, uh, Shiva is okay. Yes, Hariwala knows, and others, you are not aware. Okay, okay, fine. So, Shiva, Daksha. Yes, Daksha was the father-in-law of Shiva. Now, Shiva got married to Sati. Now, there was the fire sacrifice which Daksha was performing. And so he had called all the exalted personalities from the entire universe. That was, uh, I mean to say that the Brahmaji was there and Shiva was there and all the demigods were there. So what happened is that Daksha, he entered into the sacrificial arena and everybody stood up except for two personalities, that is Brahma and Shiva. And this person, Daksha, he was so proud. He was so proud that he is a Prajapati. Prajapati means, you understand, who is the creator of the entire progeny. So he was so proud that he was thinking that, okay, everybody is standing, but then one person is not standing. He was not feeling bad that Brahma did not stand up because Brahma is the father of Daksha. So he was thinking, okay, anyways, I'm junior, it is okay. But Shiva should stand up, no? Shiva is like my son-in-law. And why is he not standing? But he's forgetting. He was so proud. He was thinking that, okay, he is some Prajapati, but he forgot that Shiva is one of the principal deities of this universe. He is more higher than that of the Daksha Prajapati. He totally forgot because he was proud of his own position. Sometimes when we are proud of so much we are proud of our own position that we forget to see that the other person is also exalted. For example, when we become proud of our abilities, of our skills, we think that the other person is totally insignificant. He doesn't know anything. I only know everything. So that is a symptom of pride. When we think that I know everything, the other person doesn't know anything. Right? So that is a symptom of the pride. And Daksha Prajapati had that pride. And he was thinking that why Shiva did not get up. He got completely bewildered. So problem of a proud person is that he expects every respect from everybody, right? Actually, when it comes to the devotees should practice one particular shloka, that is Trinadapi Sunichira, Tarorapi Shahishuna, Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadasari. So one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of the mind, thinking oneself lower than the street, lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and one should be ready to offer all respect to others. But here it was Daksha's position was completely opposite. He was not ready to offer respect because he was only hankering for respect. That is what a proud person does. He is always hankering for respect. And who did not give me respect? Who did not give me importance? Because he thinks that in his life, he is the center of the attraction, and everybody else should revolve around him. Right? So that is the mentality of a proud person. So Daksha had that thing. So why did Shiva did not get up? Did Shiva also think in that way? No. Shiva was completely absorbed in his mind. He was thinking of the supreme personality of Godhead. If you see, Shiva is always meditating, and in that assembly also he was meditating. So that's why he could not even realize, okay, that person is that. And even if he realized it, he offered respect to the super soul within Daksha, that is to the Lord, super soul is seated in everyone's heart. So he offered respect. But then for this Daksha, he could not understand the exalted personality of Shiva. And what did he do? He disrespected Shiva and he offended Shiva by telling that you won't get a share of the sacrifice because you are not giving me proper respect and you are very proud. A proud person will always see pride in others, right? Because he is very proud. So Daksha was very proud. So he was seeing I mean to say that he was seeing in Shiva that pride. But if you see here, if you see for a materialistic perspective, Shiva is going through a crisis. He has a problem in his life, isn't it? Like, he is getting cursed by his own father-in-law. He's getting cursed and he's insulted also. Like Daksha completely insulted Shiva. But what did Shiva do? Shiva did not get provoked. He left that particular arena, sacrificial arena. So there Srila Prabhupada writes, the greatness of a person is tested when we see that how he reacts to the provoking situation. The greatness of the person is tested during the provoking situation. So Shiva did not made a further fuss. Rather, he left that place and went. Why did he do that? Because he was absorbed completely in Krishna consciousness. And he thought, when I was telling you in the previously, that I was telling that a fixed goal. So what was his goal? His goal was that I have to please Krishna. My Krishna consciousness is more important than this silly fight with my father-in-law. What happens for us, most of us, we take up to these silly fights in our life, and we think that if I win these silly fights, then I am the great, the Alexander the Great, right? And we totally lose focus on what best I can do in my Krishna consciousness. So for Daksha, for him, his respect was more important than the proper execution of that sacrificial ceremony. But for Shiva, his Krishna consciousness was more important than the insults which he was going through, what he was facing. Right? And here Prabhupada in his purport of Bhagavad Gita, he tells that particular thing, that tolerance means tolerance of disrespect, or tolerance means also not expecting honor from others. Right? So Shiva had that virtue, and that's why he could tolerate. And also in today's verse, if you see, Krishna is telling Matra Spashastu Kaunteya, Sitoshna Sukha Dukha, don't get affected by happiness or distress. How could Shiva could do it? How could he did not get affected by happiness, distress? Because he was following the verse number 2.13. We are in 2.14, but he was following 2.13. What is that? That Dehino Yashmin Yatha Dehe Kaumaram Yauvanam Jada. He was not thinking that I am the body, I am a soul. Only when somebody is above the bodily platform, he can he can think in that way. He can tolerate the problems of his life. Fourth one, purity check. Like sometimes what happens is that, like I can give you another example from the scripture where there was a problematic situation and how that person tolerated. Now, Prithu Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, you can just do a little research on him, but I'll tell in a very briefly. Now, Prithu Maharaj was an empowered incarnation of the Lord, and he was a great king. Now he was doing sacrifices like Ashwamedha Yajna. See, if you do 100 Ashwamedha Yajna, that means the horse sacrifice, you can become Indra. Now only Indra has done the 100 sacrifices and nobody else, right? So now Prithu Maharaj had done 99 sacrifices, 99 Ashwamedha sacrifice. He had to do just one more sacrifice to make it to 100, right? So what happens? Indra becomes very, jealous. He starts becoming very envy. Oh, if he takes up to that 100, then my position will go away, right? Some people are there. We always want to secure our position, right? And if there is any threat to our position, then we want to pull down. We want to make that person down. So Prithu Maharaj was also doing the same thing. He was, sorry, not Prithu Maharaj. Indra wanted to do the same thing, and what he did, he stole the horse. He stole the horse, and when Prithu Maharaj came to know, Prithu Maharaj wanted to kill him, wanted to kill Indra. But at that time, Brahmaji came into rescue, and Brahmaji said that to to forgive Indra. Brahmaji said to Prithu to forgive Indra. Prithu had such power that he could even kill Indra. But then, Brahmaji came and you know, um, he somehow he balanced the situation and he said to Prithu Maharaj to, you know, to stop killing Indra. So there, if you see, yes, Prithu Maharaj was provoked at that moment. But then by his seniors' guidance, Prithu Maharaj, he had he had corrected his behavior. So whenever some problems happen in our life, we should approach some mentor, somebody who is a little senior to us, who can help us. Sometimes there is problems within devotees also, but then one should approach a senior devotee who is neutral to everybody, and who is ready to give some proper suggestion, or who is in higher in the Krishna consciousness. So what happens when that person gives you suggestion? He does not give suggestion based on any biasness. Rather, he gives the situation of what is best for in Krishna consciousness at that time. So when Prithu Maharaj, he heard Brahmaji's words, he realized that yes, satisfying Krishna is more important for me rather than gaining that pride of getting 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. So there Prabhupada writes that one's glory depends not on the size of one's accomplishment, but on the quality of one's consciousness and character. It does not mean that how much quantity you are doing, but it also depends upon your consciousness on which you are doing the quantity. Sometimes you may do 64 rounds, but if that 64 rounds, like, except for few rounds, most of the rounds you are feeling that proud. Oh, I did 64. Oh, I did 64. I am doing this many extra rounds. No, that is not the purity. Purity check is that we must understand that why am I doing it? For whom am I doing it? Am I doing it to please Krishna? So that is very important. If you are doing it to please Krishna, if your goal is fixed, then you can tolerate any dualities, and you can easily forgive people. The more you forgive people, the more you can tolerate the things. Finally, the people, that the last one, I was telling you that how to tolerate the happiness. So the devotees, they see happiness as a blessing. They see that, okay, this thing which I have got in my life, the happiness, I was not deserving it, but that Krishna, out of his mercy, he gave me these things, and that's how he tolerates the happiness in his life. So with this, I will stop here. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak. So anybody has any questions, you can please tell. You can please ask. So I will stop here. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Anybody has questions, you can raise your hands, and I can take up to some questions. So nobody has any questions? Okay. If you have questions, you can unmute and you can ask.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Ha, Hare Krishna.
So like I have a question. So now in that story of Daksha and Shiva, so Shiva tolerated his insult, but in Pandava's case, they also tolerated the insult. But Pandavas fought for their right. Shiva didn't fight for his right. So like how do we know in our life in which situation we should, like for example, currently we are seeing that India-Pakistan war is there. So, like, how do we put such present life situations in which category, like Shiva Daksha category or Pandava Kaurava category? Like, both case, there someone is insulting, someone is being insulted. One is pious, one is wrong. So, like, how do we differentiate in two situations?
Actually, if you see, Shiva did not react, but Shiva did react. Not in that situation, but later when Sati went. When Sati went to Daksha's, like Daksha had another sacrifice, and then Sati went there, and Sati was not given respect in Daksha's assembly. Daksha did not even look at her, what to speak of talking. So at that time, no, Sati felt so much pain that she sacrificed her life in the same sacrificial fire. So at that time, Shiva got very angry. So devotees, they, if there is any, they tolerate. But if any devotee is being harmed, they do not tolerate. Right? Or the Supreme Lord is being criticized, they do not tolerate. So first of all, Shiva's case, and when it comes to Pandava's case, now Pandavas actually did not, they were Kshatriyas. They for a Kshatriya to live, they have to have some earning. And how can they get that earning? They can get that earning by, I mean to say that they can get that earning by I mean to say they have to rule some kingdom, something. Then only they can get something, right? To so that they can live. So they just, if you see, they tried every means so that this fight, this war doesn't happen. Like Krishna himself, he went, right? And he was trying to retaliate. But then Duryodhana's pride was very high. And third thing is that if you see Krishna himself, he wanted to reduce the burden of this entire world. So Krishna was, all this Bhagavad Gita is for what? This Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is trying to motivate Arjuna to fight because he's telling that, yes, you become my instrument and fight. So if you see the the two things which you said, first is that when the devotees are harmed, yes, we need to retaliate, which Shiva did. Second thing is that when we see that Krishna's desire is there, that time we respond. Like here, Pandavas, they fought because here Krishna's desire was there. If Krishna's desire would not have been there, they would not have fought. Everything what they did was because it was Krishna's desire so that this war happens. So for us, we do not know that what is Krishna's desire. At least our mind is not so much of trained that we know Krishna's desire. So what we have to do, we have to go near a sincere devotee or a senior devotee, not more than sincere. I would like to tell senior plus sincere devotee, somebody who is senior to us, who is there in this movement for a very long time. And especially if you can ask to your guru that what I should do in this situation. If not guru's disciples who are there, who are very little senior devotees, you can approach them and you can ask them that what I have to do in this situation. What is the best for my Krishna consciousness at this time? When it comes to India-Pakistan war, if you see that India-Pakistan war, if you see, more or less they are in the bodily platform. Here they are fighting like a dog. The most of the time, if you see, like last Chaitanya Charitamrita class, Mataji was telling about this Sanatan Goswami. Now, Sanatan Goswami was having 8 gold coins when he was going from Bengal to Vrindavan, going from Bengal to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So on the way, he thought that this 8 gold coins can be one of the reason for my for my life to go away, because people, they want always, the materialistic people, they want to snatch somebody's property. So similarly, if you see India Pakistan war, most of the time it is happening because of Kashmir, because they want Kashmir, right? If you see, so there is some asset that is there and nobody is ready to compromise, and they are fighting like dogs. Like dogs, what happened, no, when you land, a piece of area is there. If a dog enters from one dog's area to another dog's area, other dogs will come to chase away. So there, the fight, which is the war which is happening in Kali Yuga, cannot be compared to the war which was fought during the Satya Yuga or the Treta Yuga or that of Dwapar Yuga. There were proper values. The Lord was present, and depending upon his instruction, these wars were going on. But now, more or less, the war is happening because of many things, like because of property, because of the regions, and because of many, and the effect of Kali Yuga also. The effect of Kali Yuga is to have war. And this war, terrorism, and all these things, that these are the symptoms of Kali Yuga. Um, okay, so I'll stop here, Haribala. I hope your answer is clear.
Yes,
Like,
Mataji.
okay, question is clear. Okay, anybody else has any doubt or any comments or anything? Otherwise, we can wind up the session. Okay, so thank you, Vigneshwari. Okay, so we will end the session. I don't see any more hands. Okay, so thank you so much. Hare Krishna.